just entered the bear crawling nation on the No Agenda stream.
This is Mordant McFall, and welcome to the other side of live. Welcome everybody to the other side of live. That's right, the #1 late-night motivational morning show, also known as the other side of life. Tonight's working title is In It to Win It. And first of all, in the morning No Agenda stream, we also have in this room the dark side of positive, Charles McFall. Say hello, Charles.
Yeah, that is true. That is me.
And as you can hear, we have other guesties in the room. In the Bear's Den with us is none other than Rhonni Rocks.
Hey there. Hey there.
That was it? That was your big hello?
I don't have a practiced big hello. This is like...
Come on, open up your inner Rhonni Rocks and just explode.
I am so excited to be here. No, really. We've been playing with all kinds of weird equipment in the room. Worked on my super secret ninja project. Hey! You know, this is much easier in the room with you than on the phone because I know when you're about to say something terrible.
Yeah, and there's no lag.
And I can like poke at your arm and go, don't.
I'm trying to say it. I'm making a point. Shush. We also have Bevan Iredell.
Hey, how's it going?
That's right. He's our cameraman. The man with the cam.
Which you can't see right now because this is on radio.
That's all right. But
it'll show up somewhere on the interwebs, I'm sure.
We'll cut this puppy into a nice 2.5 minutes of best of.
There, we'll be besties.
Nice little pause there.
We all gotta go.
He's like, what?
The cameraman's talking. What are we supposed to say now?
I don't know. Do cameramen, are they allowed to talk? They are in our world.
Not the union guys. But last week we had Tosol, episode 41 was Make It Happen, talking about how not only just thinking up great ideas, not only thinking up those things or saying those things that you want to be and those things you want to do in life, but how do you actually move forward and make it happen. So, of course, Rhonni Rocks has been working on her super secret ninja project, which is what we're going to call it because that's what it is. And she is actually making it happen, and she wanted to do that magic stuff with us.
It's an interview show.
All right,
it is an interview show. I'm not going to tell you what the name of it is or the purpose of it is, the intention of it, but it's an interview show. And so I'm starting with interviewing friends so that if I get better at it, I can just go back and do it again.
You can go to the famous people. You can make your mistakes with us.
That's it. Absolutely.
So she would actually asked me about whether or not she could interview us. I'm like, yeah, of course you can. But, if you really want to be in it to win it, you're going to come all the way to Monticello, Georgia, do it there, and then be on the show. And without hesitation, she just like, fine, I'm in. And I was like, what?
Right. He said, what I have to check? I'm not sure.
Yeah, Charles. Hey, can these strange people come to your house? He's like, yeah, whatever. Let me ask the wife.
That is not what I said at all.
Yeah?
I said, come on over.
You want to tell her you said that?
You get on the phone, and Ronnie's like, well, it's like he said, I have this project. I'm like, yeah, I don't know why you're on the phone either. It's okay. Y'all come over.
Every once in a while, I have to take a sip of something.
Sorry,
okay?
I'm still trying to make sure the levels are set.
Oh, all right. So it's a very interesting night with everything going on. We've actually did our interview already with all the cameras and moved all the microphones around and everything like that. And so I thought it went pretty well.
It did. I'm pretty happy with it. And I think that people that watch it will want to watch your show. Or they want to listen to your show, rather. Because you can kind of see the rapport that you guys have.
They may want to watch our show.
They may want to watch your show.
If it's so exciting as all that, they may want to see us live.
They might.
Fantastic.
Coming to a campus near you.
That's right.
How can they talk to us live?
Well, you know what? They can call 813-413-7133. You can call in, speak to any one of us, or even better, you can speak to Rhonni Rocks or Bevan the cameraman. He is also available for chatter. 813-413-7133. Pick up the phone. Give us a call.
That's right. And you can go to SpeakPipe and leave a message, which we have a message to play tonight.
Oh, we do? Somebody left a message on SpeakPipe?
Not exactly, but it'd be like a message that they left on the SpeakPipe.
Can we play that onto SpeakPipe so it's actually our message?
What is SpeakPipe?
Very easily done.
That was so 3 episodes ago.
It is a voicemail you can leave with anything. You can use your phone go to our Facebook page, and there's a little tab that says voicemail or speak pipe, and you touch it, and it says, can I use your microphone? And you go, yes. And then you just talk into it. It's your phone, tablet, computer.
So you can leave voicemail on someone's Facebook page?
Yes.
Oh.
And it comes to our email.
It is, but so far, this is an experiment that we're trying out that we're not really getting a lot of response with.
Right.
So
but we will.
Does their phone number show up, or can it be anonymous so they're like, they can leave the dirty phone messages or something?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't show up on Facebook. It comes through Facebook to our email.
I think
so
it gives us your email.
All right.
I think so. We can, we give you a shout out. But if you say specifically, please don't play this part, and please don't, just tell them I said this. We think you're lame, but we'll probably listen. So what was you snapping the fingers? You had a great, fantastical idea.
Because now you can send any email anywhere in the world and just put at the other side of live, and we get it. You can put
that's right.
Three Stooges at the other side of live.com, and we'll get the email. You can get don't reach over the microphone and bump it at the other side of live.com. So it's a catch-all email. So make up anywhere. If you can't think of it, all you got to remember is the other side of live.com.
Right.
You can make up the rest of it, and it's all good.
And we will get it. Even if you say, wow, that was the best show ever at the other side of live.com.
or vote 1 for Charles, -1 for Mordant at the other side of live.com.
That's just mean. That's hurtful. I
Yeah,
don't think that's right.
Sharon
That's
Watson,
not very entertaining.
And of course, you can tune in live, mordantworld.com/NAS. Like many are out tonight, and noagendachat.net. Like many are out tonight. And we have a live chat room. We are talking to people right now. And BCN Watson says, Rhonni, your voice is too distinctive. We know it's you. So Rhonni Rocks. So what did we talk about last week?
Last week we talked about making it happen. And so all of a sudden, boom, we've got Rhonni Rocks for the Super Secret Ninja Project interview show, interviewing us, making it happen. We actually bring somebody else into the studio, into our bear's den, the spider's lair. And I think we're getting some
the spider's lair.
I don't know.
I don't understand.
We're getting some free video from this somehow, though. I think that we're going to be putting that up on YouTube somehow once it gets edited.
We missed all of that because basically the memory in my iPhone is full.
Nice.
Oh.
Nice.
What about the iPad that you're filming with right now?
And it's got like gigs, massive. It's completely underutilized. That's the point.
It's so big.
It's like this great lens gone. The nice, cool lens. The easy to hold bullshit. Blah blah blah. Now we're stuck with this iPad. Insert shot of iPad now.
Hey, now that's the only reason I want to get an iPad, because it does some beautiful video.
Yeah, it does. We were watching.
I want to do my reality show on that. That's my camera. I want you to follow me around with the iPad.
Are you going to be like your reality show?
Our reality. I'm sorry. I just do the opposite of you. It's my nature. You come and go, we're going on tour. What do you mean? Well, I talked to Allison. She wants me to speak. Well, that's not we. So I say my. I'm the opposite. I mean we when I say my.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Because,
whatever.
Because we're in it to win it.
Well, if you just go somewhere with someone following you with the camera, you will become a reality show, because you go anywhere with an entourage and people think you're the deal.
Do you think that we could just pay some stalkers to follow us around?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Fantastic. So since we have you in the studio, we're going to ask you questions. Where do you see this going, or how's it going? We're not your first interview. The first person you interviewed was with Tegan.
Tegan
Elliott.
Tegan Elliott.
Tegan the Terror.
Yeah, she's Tegan the Terror on Instagram and on Twitter,
Yeah.
and an incredibly talented young woman who's got a new stage show she's putting together, and so I wanted to talk to her about that. And, mostly my interviews are about, I want to talk to people who are doing what they love.
Right.
I'm fortunate to be really surrounded with people who do what they love. Whether they do it full-time or they're doing something else so that they can afford to do the thing they love. I was at a party in New York City for 4th of July, and one of my friends showed up with a fella, and we said, so, hey, what do you do? What's your name? What do you do? Which is the really trite New York City question. And he said, do you want to know how I pay my bills, or do you want to know what pushes my buttons?
Right.
And I realized that that's the kind of question I want to ask people. That's really what I'm like. We just want to be able to have a conversation with you. I don't care how you pay your bills.
Yeah, it's like with your friends, you already know what they do. So what jazzes you? What gets you going?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. What makes you want to be in it to win
or
it?
what do you do? Yeah, exactly. What makes you want
Right.
to be in it to win it? What are you doing now? What's got you now? Because I remember what you were doing last year, and that was really, really cool. Now, where are you at? What's going on now?
Right. Yeah, which was pretty much the the first thing I said to Charles was, so, I haven't talked to you in almost a year, face-to-face. What's up now? And it was fabulous.
Tegan or Charles?
Charles, when I...
Well, what are you doing now?
Nothing.
Nothing. This.
Nothing.
This. She waves her arms as if people can see her.
They'll be able to see that on the video months from now, and they will remember.
Yeah.
Oh, that is the arm waving of which she spoke. So speaking of people in it to win it, now I met a fan of ours at the Renaissance Festival, and she had 2 kids with her. And one of the things that struck me about this woman is that everything that she was doing was kid-centered, and she was just very, very patient. The 2 young boys were like, "Wow, mommy, riddling." So, but she was so patient with them, and I walked up to her and I commented, "You are very patient with your boys. It's commendable. It's wonderful." And she said thank you, and later on found me on the internet, because the Tortuga Twins, you can find us, and sent me an email about it, and I asked her if I could read it, and she said yes. Now this is for all of you, I don't know how many people out there who have families and are listening, but this is how she feels about her children, etc., etc. So I'm just going to, hopefully this will take us into an in it to win it moment, but it might not. I wanted to let you know, hello funny fellow, I wanted to let you know how very much I enjoyed the shows this past Saturday. My boys enjoyed them as well, and thankfully my 5-year-old did not call his grandmother a lesbian the next day, which is part of our show, but I digress. LOL. I'm Colleen, by the way. Sorry, I just realized I didn't let you know whose email you're reading. It's been one of those days. You and your brothers were the icing on the cake for our Mommy and Me Day, so thanks. I also thought about what you asked me before one of the shows. It was along the lines of, where do I find patience concerning my boys? And I gave you a very vague, almost flippant answer. Don't sweat the small stuff. Which is very true, but also hard to keep doing when you've walked into your boys' room and there's baby powder on any and all surfaces. I guess what I should have said was, you're only 5 once. You're only going to look at the world as an adventure for a very short time. I don't want to keep my boys in bubbles, but what's the harm in encouraging adventures to the moon in our front yard? LOL, sooner than I want it to happen, my boys will realize that magic mommy kisses do not fix her hurts. And I really don't know the answer to everything. So for now, at least, there really are dragons in our backyard, and magic happens every day. My boys think they are wizards, because how else does food appear on their plate and magically disappear? How else does food on their plate magically disappear every night? When messes happen, and boy do they ever, I remind myself, 1, messes are supposed to happen and can always be cleaned, and 2, how much longer will I have the privilege of being a part of something as beautiful as my child's imagination? For a little while longer, the world is an adventure, a big, beautiful possibility. Why waste time fussing about the little things? I hope you have a wonderful week filled with your own magic and possibilities. Keep bringing laughter. Keep bringing your laughter to all you meet. I love it. Lots of love, Colleen. So thank you very much, Colleen, for allowing me to share that letter. That is a perfect example of a parent who is in it to win it with their kids. They're creating a possibility, their own magic kingdom, where later on in life, the kids are probably going to become and develop a very strong creative muscle. And who knows, no matter what they go into, whether they become a doctor or a construction worker or a writer, they're going to be creative in that. So I think that this woman has really exemplified that in it to win it attitude with raising her kids. And I'm done with my story.
Now, when you started off doing the Tortuga Twins over 25 years ago, did you think y'all would aspire to that statement? You and your brothers were the icing on my Mommy and Me Day.
I believe that
that's a great compliment. Don't get me wrong.
That is the aspiration, or should be, of every 25-year-old man as he's growing up. Yes, I am the icing on every mommy. I don't know. Wait.
That's not what she said. It's the Mommy and Me Day. The icing on every mommy is a whole different show.
No, but I'm lucky enough to be there now. We have changed. Our comedy have changed. In the beginning, we did what we were called surfing on a thin wave of cute. And we actually have our beginning show was called the Edwina Show. We were looking for our lost princess. We dragged some woman up there, and we have this shoe bit where we're doing the sacred shoe, and we go through some cutesy stuff. We tried doing that show again with the type of comedy, the style of comedy that we have now, and it's not funny to us anymore. I'm like, oh, this is too cute, and our comedy has matured, has developed beyond that stage. So no, I think we're very lucky to get that from somebody. Yeah, especially cool. A parent of quality like that, especially considering some of the body stuff that we do.
Right. As she mentioned in the email. So did you want to hold this audio clip till later, or do you want to throw it in
do you think it fits right now?
I think it always
Bring it,
fits.
baby.
I don't know.
Let's
now
do it.
This is, you can leave a message similar to this by using our SpeakPipe app on Facebook, or go to Mordant World. All the pages of Mordant World have the tab. And you could even, if you get bored, you go to speakpipe.com/bear crawling, and I'll get it to those who need it.
It's on Tosol too, the BCN Tosol.
Yeah, no, I'm not talking about Facebook. That's where they should go, is BCN Tosol.
Right.
But you actually go to speakpipe.com/bear crawling, and it's just one simple page, and do it as well.
Probably soon, coming soon to a Rhonni Rocks page near you.
There you go.
Quite possibly.
As a great way to leave voicemails, really easy. But this is feedback on how this show has actually changed some people's outlooks. Let's see if I can get the volume right here.
I want to make a shout out to...
Shout out!
I want to make a shout out to the other side of life.
Yeah, Tosol.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you slam that. You slam that water. Because we're not alcoholics, people. We drink water.
Agua.
Yeah, water.
It's 5 p.m. on a Wednesday.
Exactly. We have to work. We're not alcoholics. So, I want to give a shout out to the other side of live because it's funny... Because when I first started listening to it, I decided to start, finagling, get into some stuff and learn about podcasting. Because this is new to me.
Yes.
And I realized there's so much out there.
There is.
So I decided to check them out because, I love Sir Charles. And,
you do. Shout out!
Shout out, Sir Charles! And so, it's very inspirational, gentlemen, I'd have to say. And you inspired me to reach for my dreams and my goals.
Yay!
And so I stumbled upon an opportunity to take a comedy class with a local comedian that I look up to with her material. No, it's okay.
I'm sorry.
Continue being horrible over there. But so due to you guys saying opportunities are right in front of your face. And when you first said that, I'll admit I was like, no they're not. You have to work hard for everything, which you say you have to work hard for everything, but I'm such a tunnel vision person that I don't see the opportunities when they are right in front of my face.
Right.
Well, via social networking, I found out that there was this comedy class, and I've always wanted to get into stand-up comedy, and I started it last weekend, and it is awesome.
It's fun.
Yes. And it's a way for me to get the ball rolling and to actually understand, the mechanics of comedy.
Right.
So I want to say thanks, you guys.
Mordant, Charles.
I know that you get through to a lot of people, but you got through to somebody with a very death-encrusted, sick soul.
Yeah, it's hard to get through that one.
Congratulations.
And almost impenetrable.
Yeah, and you know what? If I ever, see you in person, I'll even give you a hug. Yeah.
That's big. It is. It's huge.
Super big. Big old hug.
You know how she is. She don't hug.
So there you go.
And nice. Did they? Who is it?
That would be Jessam and Lala. Bitches be tripping.
Jess Magnon.
Jess Magnon. Jess Magnon.
That was very nice. Thank you, ladies, so much. That was really nice.
And she's a comedian by nature. And one of the things we talked about setting up the show was her desire to be a stand-up comic. And she actually had that real moment on the show and wanted to talk about it. And that's on their show. It's episode number 5, which is out now on allmynonsense.com. So you can check that out. And that was clipped from it. But you can do the same thing, just use SpeakPipe. That's all I'm saying.
Leave us a message.
And technically speaking, Charles is alphabetically first. I'm just saying you did it wrong. Okay.
Well, Sir Charles. That's why.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
What it was, and
I know it's in the stream. I'm not technically a sir. Just
why they were talking about Charles Barkley, I have no idea. So that's awesome. You know, our social media thing of choice of late is Instagram. which we keep talking about because we keep snapping those pictures. And we have inducted Rhonni into this. That's right. Resistance is futile. You are of the body. You have been assimilated.
You have been assimilated.
So you can actually, we're going to pimp her out right now. You can find Rhonni in Instagram on Rhonni Rocks, RHONNI Rocks. And you can see the fabulous pictures that she's taken. You have two now, right?
No, I've taken one of you, which is,
I thought you took one of Charles.
I took one of the two of you.
No,
oh, no, I took one of Charles. That's right.
That's right. So you got two pictures.
No, maybe I only have one of Charles.
How does this have to do with it at the win?
I don't know. This is called killing time.
We don't have enough time.
Well, I will say that the in it to win it thing was a motivator today because I had a tough first part of the day and was, headache for several hours in a place where I couldn't take anything for it because I'm a breast cancer survivor and today was the mammogram and MRI day. So
dung for the MRIs. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Would you like to listen to music? Well, you're not going to hear it.
Metal work.
No, because you can't move.
Right.
You have to stay perfectly still. And at first I thought, I'll bring a book on tape. And they were like, bring whatever you want. No, because you can't hear half of it. So now you're mad because you missed the important part. But I digress. I was really ready to just fall down and go to sleep. And I went, no, because Ricky said in it to win it. Okay, here's what we're going to do. Bevan, we're taking my car, but you're going to drive, and I'm going to nap for 20 minutes on the way to Monticello so that I could be there. And it totally worked, but if I had to really push through it.
So remember, if you're going to be in it to win it, make sure that you have a chauffeur that will take you around and make sure that you can make all of your appointments. So I think that is what it is about a lot. A lot of us, I heard a story recently about Crichton. Wasn't it Michael Crichton or John Grisham? One of the two, and I can't remember who would get up at 4 in the morning and put in 2 hours of writing because he wanted to be a writer so much. Even though, and I can't remember, was Grisham.
Probably Grisham. He's a lawyer by trade to start with.
So even though he had that, the one career, he's like, that's not just what I want to do. This is what I want to do. So he was actually really, really in it to win it. So it's more about pushing yourself forward and going, look, if I'm really going to do this, I'm really going to do this. As opposed to giving yourself those cockamamie excuses. Oh, I'm tired. Oh, I was up late. Oh, no, I've got to go and, water the dog or walk the plants or whatever it is that you're going to do. How badly do you really want to do this thing? Are you really in it to win it? Are you just in it because it sounds cool to say, oh, I want to do this. Oh, I want to be a writer. It sounds cool. Come on, all your friends are like, oh, you're going to be a writer. Yeah, I'm working. I got a couple pages written. And then, I've got other stuff that I have to do, so I'll get back to it. It sounds cool. But if you're really in it to win it, you're putting the time in. You're putting your butt in that chair every day. If you really want to create a new interview show, you're going to go those, 70 miles. And it's not interstate either, ladies and gentlemen. It's back roads here to
it was a very pretty drive.
Thank you.
You were sleeping.
Scenic.
You were sleeping. All the scenery that she saw, dreamland, baby. Let's ask Bevan how scenic it was. I saw a cow.
No, it was actually quite nice.
Yeah.
I totally understand why you're out here. It's like there's water.
The lake is right there.
The lake
there's
is right there.
Tons of water and streams. It's very picturesque.
That's nice.
Yeah. And then, as far as how many mosquitoes I'll be washing off the front windshield.
Well, there's that too.
It's worse than Minnesota. Minnesota state bird. The mosquito.
So, what have you been in that you're in it to win it, and you're pushing, and times get hard? Oh, I'm in it to win it, and you're pushing, and it's just dragging, and it's hard, and finally you woke up and went, I might be in it to win it, but I think I'm in the wrong game.
Well, specifically that, I remember when I first started doing on-camera acting. And there was, when I first went to it, it was like, oh, this is fun. I'm having a good time. And then I hit the skids on about a 2-week period where everything I did sucked. And the acting coach was not a nice guy. I mean, he was a nice guy. But for a while there, I thought he didn't like me, didn't like what I did. It was a husband and wife team. And I was like, I suck. I literally told myself, I think I've made a wrong decision here. I think I need to, keep with my Tortuga thing and not do on-camera acting because it's completely different than doing theater stuff. It's not really acting. You have to just kind of be. And if you're acting, you're overacting. So I thought, first of all, I didn't think they liked me very well. But I was friends with their daughter and her boyfriend. And I was hanging out with them, and I was like, oh, your dad doesn't like me and like what I do. They're like, they love you. I'm like, well, they need to tell me that, because all I'm hearing is the bad stuff I do, which is what I need to work on. That's great. But you need to flavor that with a little bit of, hey, but you're doing this right. Because otherwise, I'm getting so discouraged, I'm not going to do this anymore. And oddly enough, in the next couple of weeks, they would take a moment and go, but you did this right. They gave me that critique, so obviously they talked to it. So that was one of the things where I was like, yeah, I'm in it to win it, but then for 2 weeks, I was like, I think I've made a mistake.
So you haven't done anything that you failed at, or you were pushing so hard that you're laughing. Ronnie's over here laughing.
I'm not laughing that he does, but
it's like, well, no, my thing was I was in a band, and I was gung-ho, I was dedicated, I went through 3 or 4 or 5 iterations, and no matter how hard it got, I pushed, built this room for that purpose, and finally, I just had no more opportunities in front of me. And I started getting the podcasting at that point, listening and doing stuff for other people, producing stuff for other people, and said, you know what? I'll sit down and do podcasting. And that's what worked for me. But I had to realize, even though I'm in it to win it, the band thing was not for me. It just was not working.
People that don't fail aren't doing anything.
Right.
But he doesn't like to talk about his failures.
Right, well, because you forget them.
Here comes the bus.
I just don't have them.
Right.
I have opportunities to learn something new. I have how not to do something. What were you saying, Rhonni?
I was saying, you forget about your failure. I mean, you might have learned something from them. Oh, that part of that worked, but this didn't work at all. But for the most part, I mean, if there are no failures for you to do, you've either been incredibly lucky, or you haven't realized something was a failure and you should go on and do something bigger.
Right.
You might not be playing a big enough game.
Yeah, you're not taking enough chances.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What is it? If you're not living on the edge, you're taking up too much room.
Oh, that's nice.
Casey Westerfeld says, if you don't make mistakes, you aren't trying hard enough.
Right.
And we've certainly made mistakes. I mean, we've made mistakes with The Other Side of Live. We've made mistakes with Tortuga Twins. There are certain things that we've tried that just maybe have started down a certain road and then just haven't gone anywhere. And it may be just about not so much what we were doing, but how we were doing it. Or maybe it was that we didn't stick with it long enough. Or maybe it was just that we didn't have it. It really wasn't our dream. So that kind of petered out. And the mistake was going on, somebody else convinced us to do something else.
Yeah.
For you, it was the rock and roll thing, but that led you to podcasting. So it took you down the hallway. Yeah. At the very least, it got you used to talking to people,
sure.
or having that rock and roll mentality that you bring to the Bear Crawling live show.
I'm the rock god of podcasting, baby.
Boom, baby. And would you be that guy if you weren't in rock and roll beforehand?
Maybe not.
All right.
Maybe not.
And Tortugas. Okay. Whenever we put out a new show, we have 5 theater shows that we do right now. We've written 6. Well, not of Renaissance Festival shows. The theater shows are something different. Whenever we come out with a new Renaissance Festival show, there's something we call the Season of Suck, which means that although we've written all the jokes, the timing isn't quite there or something. Mm-hmm. And usually the first time we ever do it, it's great. But then after that, it's not as funny. So we're conflicted between we need to work this show to make it better, and we're losing money that we need to live off of because we're working this crap show. Like our biggest show that we have right now is our Sword Fighting and Stupidity, the Rated R show. At one time, it was the worst show that we had. And we had to force ourselves to keep working it. And maybe we'll lose a couple of jokes in there and add a couple, but really the only thing that changes is the timing and the delivery. Right. So it takes about a full season, a whole year to get through that. And then it's like, okay, now we've got a show. And every show has been like that for us.
And now the cool thing about it, I've been to that show I don't know how many times, and your hardcore fans will only come to that show.
Right.
And it's like the band that's been out for a while. Let's just go with Metallica when they did the Black Album. They toured with that album for 5 years. So by the 5th year, the fans are going out to that concert again for the 3rd and 4th time. James Hetfield will take the microphone and just hold it out to the crowd, and they'll sing the whole song. it's like that now for your show, except for the stuff y'all improvise. There's certain marks that we know you hit, and the crowd is just like right there with you.
Right.
They make the same joke you make, and it's a cool moment.
And I have people who are like, usually they're in a craft booth nearby or something nearby. They're like, I've memorized your show. I could do it, as well. It's different when you're on stage because sometimes we'll forget our lines.
Yeah.
And what's great about the people having memorized it is that we'll stop and go, okay, we've done this. Okay, does anybody know where we're at? And often an audience member will go, blah, 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 blah. And we're like, thank you. And we'll move on from there.
Right.
Because we've, had that brain fart or Alzheimer's is finally kicking in or whatever it is. So there's that.
That is cool. What about you, Rhonni?
Well, I happen to own a craft booth next door to their stage.
Yeah, no, I hang out.
And truthfully, the R show's the one that I watch. But it's because it's sloppier. I mean,
yes.
Why?
It's like a live show where the others are very rehearsed to me.
It's like years ago, I dated a guitarist for a couple years, and his goal was to be so good that he could play bad. He's like, look at the Stones. They are so loose, they're tight.
Right.
Right? And so that's the thing. If he's so loose, you're tight.
Yeah, and that's the show that we decided at one point, even the sword fighting, except I think at the very beginning of the season where we'd go over it a little bit, is like, we do not rehearse this show. Mm-hmm. And what's kind of unfortunate is we've done it for so long that we do know it. But it is our most improv, and a lot of the structure of the show are jokes that were developed via improv.
Right.
So a lot of it comes from improv, and we're able to hit that same way every time. So it sounds like improv every time.
Right. But I have been there when somebody tossed out the answer was a Michael Jackson song.
Right.
And then this huge riff comes off of it.
Yeah, all the puns.
Yeah. Yeah.
That and actually we do the Michael Jackson thing on a regular basis. Sometimes it'll be about trees, or sometimes it'll be about computer games, or saying we'll do something about Star Trek or Star Wars, which is what we've done lately. And then we're like, as we're all doing it, the three of us will be trading off all these puns, and that's a lot of fun for us because we don't do that very often, and that is a lot of improv for us. And it's just like, and if somebody brings up something really, really new, the other two guys are like, bowing down, going, master.
Right.
And that's fun. But it means having been able to do that is because we've been with each other for, like we said, 25 years, so we know each other's timing. We know a lot of what the other guy's thinking or what he might say. We're so in tune that sometimes when one of us goes off on something, the other person will go off as well. So something is said in a certain way that brings both of our brains down the wrong road. And it's weird. It's like I'll say the wrong line the same time somebody else says the wrong line. We're that in tune. And that's an interesting moment.
That's interesting. So thanks for the show.
Success freaks!
Now, there's got to have been a time, I know I've hit them a few times, where I'm like, I just don't want to do this anymore. I've had some really bad backlash. I've had some people I've trusted in the podcasting world just be complete, total douchebags, and
I apologize.
No, when you yell at me in social media public and try to make me feel like I'm nothing and act like you're the king of the world, and all I can think to do is just go into the email and tell you you're not welcome here anymore because I'm not going to be the douchebag you are. Either I'm raging and want to throw my desk across the room.
Right.
And
you're
it's
deciding to take the upper professional hand.
I guess to a point. But it's like that. Those kind of moments make you want to go, why am I even bothering? Why am I doing this? 5 people get entertained. Is it worth this to do that? And in it to win it kicks in at that point. Because I know you've had 25 years of doing the Tortuga Twins. I know you had moments where you went, you know what? I could go sit in the air conditioning and fill in data reports on a computer or something.
You know, brother, I have a great job and I love what I do. But every once in a while, it's a job.
Right.
I get out there and I'm in Georgia and it's 94 degrees out. The audience is miserable. I'm miserable, or maybe we're sick or something. And you're just like, I don't want to do this. But what's good about what we do is that not only have we trained ourselves to say things a certain way, we've trained our bodies to jump a certain way at a certain height, so that even when we're tired, maybe we won't jump that high, but we'll jump pretty close. And I've had a lot of people ask, wow, you have so much energy at the end of the day. Well, that's because we've trained ourselves that way.
Sure.
And what we have sometimes too, when everything's really going into the toilet, we have what we call day at the beach. when we know, okay, the show's tanking, the audience isn't with us, it's time to just start laughing at it. Just treat it like it's a day at the beach. And we start laughing about how bad we're doing, and we've turned the show around that way, where the audience starts getting into it, and all of a sudden by the end of it, we're like, that was a great show. How did that happen? Well, because we just didn't care. We had a good time and enjoyed each other and enjoyed what we did that moment.
Right.
Our joy was not predicated on our surroundings. It was up to us.
Well, my favorite moments on the Carol Burnett show were always when Tim Conway would make Harvey Korman lose it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, my favorite. In the Rated R show, there's a stage slap scheduled. And you can tell when you guys are having too much fun because Jeff will just stop and be laughing. That really hurt. You know? And you go, really? Bah! And hit him again. And it's those moments that make me crack up the most. And that's why I love the show the most, because, you know, each of you will play off of what's going on. If you really get hurt, you take a knee, make it funny, you know, that kind of thing. And that's why we do live radio. That's why we do it uncensored, unedited, no delay. It's, one, because I'm lazy. I don't want to put all the work into cutting media together.
Yeah, but also,
but two,
because the other way would be boring.
Yep.
I hear all these guys doing their and I'm not going to disparage on doing a podcast, pre-recorded, et cetera, et cetera. I've done it. It's been great. But after having soared with live, man, I want to go back to it.
You know, it's, you sit here and we'll say something and we'll mess up, and you're like, oh, that joke didn't work, or, you know, throw me under the bus. Well, something comes off the top of our head. Whereas you're the perfectionist, and I used to be, and I've learned that I don't have time to be perfect. Screw it. I throw everything out there, and I'm okay with that. But if we were editing together, you would get a very professional show. Is the best way. Because it'd probably be entertaining, but it would not be what we do here. It would not have those moments because people tend to cut those out. Something was said wrong.
I think a part of what we're all saying here is that a part of the in it to win it for this is that you're willing to take chances.
There you go.
You're willing to take chances, and you've done, of course, your due diligence. You've honed your craft. I've done 25 years of doing comedy. You know, Charles has done however many years of being on radio and in front of a mic and in front of people.
2 days, but I sound cool, don't I?
You do. You sound damn spiffy.
Nice.
And then Rhonni, although she's, the interview show is her newest project. She's had years of doing entrepreneurial stuff and things like that. We're willing to take chances. We're in it to win it in our lives because we realize that our life experience is up to us.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I've done a lot of different things, which is one of the dilemmas I have with what personality I put out there for people. But I was willing to screw it up. Oh, I need to learn building code for 3 different regions so that I can draw things and get permits. You know, I might have done it wrong, but I would just kind of, okay, that's wrong. Thank you, Mr. Building Inspector. I'll be back in about 30 minutes with another drawing.
Please be here.
Please be here.
Do you believe you've learned the best by making the mistakes?
Absolutely. You got to wade in it. But I learn like that.
Yeah.
You know, I learn a lot by doing, not to say I like to go to classes. I learn more going to a class than reading a book. And I learn more if and it's not just the listening. I have to write down the notes while listening. Then I've got it.
Gotcha.
Like something about having physical movement. some of my learning is kinetic. So I have to be doing it in order to really get it plugged in.
One of the things that you told me not that long ago, maybe it was even last year, and I've really taken this to heart, is that it ain't broke till you can't fix it.
Oh, absolutely.
And you had a story about something. If you want to share that, I think
sure. I was. My husband and I, then boyfriend, had built a building at the Colorado Renaissance Fair, and it was a kitchen, so we had to pull a lot of electrical in it. In Colorado, you've got to bring in a licensed electrician. It's all in fixed conduit, so you've got to bend it. It's a really expensive job, and so I was kind of loaned to him as an assistant, and I've wired outlets, and other parts of the country I can wire the outlets, and I can drag them to the breaker box, and somebody else can hook them up. And so I was wiring an electrical plug, and now with fixed conduit, you've pulled in individual wires. So there's 4 individual wires coming down because it's a 220 plug, and I have to strip the plastic off of this wire and then put it into the plug. And I cut it and started to strip it and realized that I was going to strip too much of this wire. So I stopped, cut it where I needed to, pushed back the piece, and was reaching for a piece of tape. And he reached, this electrician reached over and like grabbed my arm and says, "What are you doing?" I said, "I would not have sealed this up without showing this to you, but here's what I did. I started to make this mistake, and so I'm fixing it with this tape, and does that work?" And he said, "Yeah, it does. You want a journeyman's position?"
Nice.
And I'm like, "You're kidding." And he said, "How old are you?" I said, "I'm 24. He said, "I've had people that have worked for me for 6 years that can't figure that shit out. You know, it's not broke until you can't fix it."
Yeah.
And, you know,
And
that's just a real
the
one.
beauty of learning from your mistakes. That's the beauty of trying something new and something that I like to call failing forward. Don't be so paralyzed by your fear of doing something wrong that you can't try something new, whether it's in your job, in your life, in your relationship. And as long as everybody has that attitude of it's not broke till you can't fix it,
Right.
then you're fine. And
Right.
then it's more of a playground.
Right.
I've actually learned to take it a little bit further. I ended up on the side of the I-20 interstate, out of gas. My daughter was a baby. Bad situation was going on. Family was in the car. Kids were screaming. I'm out of gas. And I was sitting there on the side of the road viewing my priorities in life. How did I get here? How the hell do I get out of here? Both literally and figuratively, metaphorically. And, you know, I take it a step further. You can fix anything until you're dead. I mean, literally, life goes on. And when you're dead, it goes on for everybody else. And that helped me change from being controlling and just making people miserable because I had to fix everything around me right now to going, I got here and I don't want to be here. And it's the darkest moment of my life. I've always said on my show, that I remember things in colors. And that was a really black moment. It's just dark. And I go, well, I don't want to be here. So what do I do to fix it? Because I could go around, I did for years before that, went around saying, the only thing you can change the situation is you. And it's a really cool, trite, stupid-ass thing to say when you try to control the world and you can't. And then it's a whole other thing to live it. And I mean, it goes beyond if it's not broken until you can't fix it. As if it's broken and you can't fix it, you go over to Best Buy and buy a new one and go on. Or you figure out something else new. You know, and I mean, that's how we've built our whole podcasting empire is, all right, that broke, let's figure out a way around it.
Right.
Because we don't have money.
Or turning the mistakes into part of the fun. You know, one of the things that make it so easy to do the Tortuga Twins and to do this live show or anything else, it's kind of my video blogs, is that I have this attitude of if I mess up, point it out, have fun with it, and move through it. Instead of creating this scenario where, oh, everything's got to be perfect, and then you screw up, and then you're really, really nervous because you just screwed up and everybody's staring at you, your mouth goes dry, and you can't think of your next word. Instead, you stop the whole show and you go, okay, wait. We've done this line, we've done this line, we've done this line. Does anybody remember? Okay, that. Oh, were you that? Okay, ready, go. And it makes it fun. The audience loves it. They love it, I think, here on the other side of live as well. You know, if I get a brain fart or I say the word wrong, you joke about it. I joke about it. And we have fun. You know, we make mistakes, we fail forward, we have a good time, and have a great life experience in what we're doing with it. And that's part also of In It to Win It.
Now, I know this is hitting notes, especially in the chat room. We'll read some in the chat room. But I know there's somebody out there who wants to ask a question. I'm going to go all Southern preacher on you. I feel somebody out there. The Lord is calling you to call in.
Come on down. Come on down.
813-413. And bring the offering for the plate.
And fried chicken.
813-413-7133. I know somebody's got a question and they're like, I'm about to take this step, or I'm hitting this wall and I don't know what to do. I mean, I'm seeing the chat room. I know we're hitting these chords. You need to call in. I'm sure you got a question that we haven't hit on. We're dancing around it, and you need to hear it a certain way. Call it in, 813-413-7133. But in the chat room, Amy in the chat room is talking about how she's 40 and just figured out what she wants to do with her life, and she's working with pets for disabled vets, is what she said. I guess she meant veterans. Because at first I thought, why are doctors disabled? I don't understand. Why would but I get it now.
Pets
after I said it out loud,
veterinarians.
yeah, I know. After I said it out loud, I went, oh, she means okay. But so she's doing that. She's not getting paid, but she's jumping out there and doing it. Everybody's congratulating her. But she's talking about When I said,
Amy just said that she says I freeze on the phone. Well,
Yeah.
you know what, Amy? If you just type your question, we might be able to see.
Yeah,
it.
we'll take it too. We'll take it in time. But you need to call anyway. But she's talking about, I was talking about life goes on. You were talking about it's not broken until you can't fix it. And she says it's easy to understand those words. It's harder to follow them. And Rathburn says that's one thing I'm learning to trust right now. If you trust the universe, it'll provide what you need to survive in your life. And immediately in my head, I jumped to, you got to trust yourself first, and that's the hardest thing. And when I was at that dark spot, when I was on the side of the road, I knew exactly how I got there. And it was stupid choice after stupid choice.
Right.
Knowing at that choice moment, I really should go here, but this is the hard way, and it'll be okay. And it wasn't. And once I stuck my head, I had to learn. I made these choices, but that doesn't mean I don't trust myself. It means I should have trusted myself and gone with, I don't think so. That's not the right path for me.
Right. You may be listening to us and thinking, oh, well, that's easy for you guys because look at what you're doing. Look at everything that, you're on this radio show talking about all this stuff, and it's just, they're just examples. They're not just examples. We're sharing this with you because we've made these mistakes in our lives as well. I mean, there are other things that we're going through as well at the same time. I mean, we're tripping over stuff still. There's relationship stuff going on. There's business stuff going on.
Well, for me, there's you're lonely and I'm sorry. No.
So I don't think I can be in it to win it.
But to be brutally honest, right now this is unlike dancing shows and singing shows. They call it Hell Week. This is Hell Week for me. The 8 weeks you're here in a good way is hell.
That's right.
Because
baby.
we stay so busy. You're here every Tuesday night and Wednesday, and we just pack it full, and we find more stuff to do, and we're getting the company bigger. We're doing what we do bigger. I work for a living. I work 40 hours a week, 4 10-hour days, and I do all this on top of it. That takes a toll on the family. And it's easy to say, coming up to it, it's only 8 weeks. It's the only 8 weeks out of the year. Well, you come back in October. It's not nearly as busy in October.
Right.
This is our busy time.
And I'm going to give you next week off.
Kind of. I'm sure you're going to give me an assignment to do something. I'm sure, but it really does amount to about 5 to 6 weeks total that we work.
Yep.
But it gets so busy. And then today, days like today happen where I'm frustrated at work. Things are going wrong. You showed up and you're stressed. You're like, I'm trying to do so much stuff, and Ronnie's coming, and the baby is not wanting to cooperate, and the kids are knocking holes in my wall, apparently. That's how we heard earlier. And my wife is tired, and she's stressed with other stuff going on in life. And I told her, look, I know it's hard right now. I know it's hard, but as soon as we get time, as soon as we get clear, I'm going to give you a little mini vacation break, whatever I can do to help you out.
With no Tortugas.
Yeah, no kids, no nothing.
podcasting.
We're going to hook you up with your friend. Steve's wife, Mo, is one of her best friends. And, you guys meet up in Chattanooga for the night and walk around town, go to the aquarium or whatever. We're going to do something for her. But it's hard. It is hard to do this. We're sitting here, and most of the time, we don't even talk about how hard it is. We're like, yeah, and when I did this, it was hard. And when I was 18, it was a bad choice. Right now, I'm 34 years old. I'm the youngest kid on the radio right now.
You totally are.
But the thing is, I knew what I wanted to do. I'm rare. And I don't mean that and I'm special with, maybe with a helmet kind of way. But I'm saying is I knew early on, I'm going to dent the universe. I'm going to change the world. And I just talked. As a kid, my son, my baby boy, who can't talk, has that gift. He came out, you were there. He was born, 5 minutes after he's born, Ricky's in the room looking at him, and the kid's like, ah! He's loud. He has not gotten quieter since. And I just...
But now it's coming out of both ends.
But I always taught. So it helped me refine to always have that goal of I'm going to... And there's always that lofty goal, I'm going to change the world. I don't know how, but I'm going to do it. And I'm a storyteller, and I just fell into it. Much like you're talking about, you never sought out to be, you by Rhonni Rocks. I'm pointing because I think we're on camera, right? Rhonni Rocks, talked about 2 weeks ago. You never aspired to be this woman who owns all these booths and runs all this different company aspects. And you, what did you say? You wanted to make people happier? How'd you phrase it?
I'd have to remember.
I don't remember. But you came in to do a good job as part of your getting caught on what you do.
I'm how I built my business was I got caught doing a good job.
Right, but your aspirations were something. It was something great about helping people be happier, or You know, because by doing it, the food.
You like to,
yeah.
you know, help other people.
Right.
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 You
And
take care
I
of people's
do,
needs.
and I would take care of people's needs, and sometimes those needs where they needed a manager for this, and sometimes, I mean, one of my businesses, I helped somebody else manage it because she was really good with ideas, but not really good at management at all. And she ended up going, you know what, I'm not having fun, I'm just going to sell you this business. Oh, okay. So that was like the 9th location at New York, was this other thing that I got sold. But, yeah, I was always drawn to places where people were there on purpose. You know, every moment, any art show that came to town, I went to it. Those people were there on purpose. They weren't there because they had to be. So, and I've ended up in that kind of world also.
I think you definitely surround yourself with those kinds of people. I've talked to a friend of mine today and another friend before, where they tend to be attracting people, whether it's in their business or whatnot, that are kind of just there, but they fall short. And that's like, you know, you're trying to save money in your business, so you're hiring these people that are just kind of there. You are surrounding yourself with people who are playing at a higher level than you are.
Oh, absolutely. Even the kids that work for me in my kitchen are like, they are there because they want to be there. They're there because they want to be feeding people. They're there because they want to be part of a shop that presents itself really professionally. You know, food kids are not upper echelon anywhere in the social strata.
Right.
Unless they work for me. And then they're like, oh, you work for Rhonni.
You posted an ad on Craigslist about 3 years ago, and you hit New Orleans, and you had a little young, aspiring baker who...
Oh, right. I needed a baker, and for my show in Houston, and I ran a Craigslist ad, described the personality of the shop I was putting on, and this girl was like, hey, I was going to do a semester in Houston. I've been baking my way through college. That sounds fun. And I gave her websites to look at really high-end cupcakes. I'm like, this is what we're doing. We're bringing a high-end bakery into this theme park where everybody thinks they're just getting turkey legs and sausage on a stick and corn dogs. And we're going to do a high-end bakery. And are you in? And it was marvelous. It was marvelous. And then she was also really beautiful and fun, and so when we did all the photo shoots with Bevan...
I mean, it was just so
And
fun.
now she's the Barefoot Contessa.
No, she's not, but she is. Debbie does d'auberge. If you are in New Orleans...
Wait, spell d'auberge. I'm sorry.
Doberge. If you type in Debbie does d'auberge onto Facebook, you'll get her site. Apparently a d'auberge is this... It's like a 200-layer cake, except the layers are a millimeter thick. It's a local New Orleans famous thing, and they're then covered in hard candy in the shape of a pyramid. And so she started this business, and she does like wine shows, and because she had played with us doing campy, girly pictures, like there's a photo of her leaning in full wench wear with a tray full of pastries into the oven. Bevan had put the camera inside the oven with a timer and took the picture from as if you're inside.
Right.
It's an awesome shot. But she got, campy, good. So she's got cartoons of herself, and she's built like Marilyn Monroe, so it works.
Trailbot, who is actually from New Orleans, says, I love d'auberge cakes. It's my birthday cake of choice.
Excellent. We should get them from Debbie. Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
Thanks, Rock Girl.
Facebook.com/Debbie Does d'auberge. DOBERGE.
Yeah, we'll also.
I
I want to check that out too.
I want to speak to Amy right now, who's talking about how she's just jumped out and done the dogs for veterinarians who've been to war or something like that. And she's talking about how to figure out how to make money, and that's the biggest mistake everybody makes. Is I'm loving this, I'm doing good at it, how do I make money? And then you'll try and you'll turn it into a job, and you'll do things you hate, and you'll burn what you love. And when I wrote to her in the room, I want to say to everybody, you keep that bigger vision. Rhonni had the vision of making people happy, helping people, and she's good at baking and making food. And she gave them a piece of food and makes them happier and healthier with the stuff you make.
Right.
I kept that vision of I'm going to rock the world. I'm going to change the world. And I knew it had to do with the microphone because music always was part of my soul. And it still is to a point. I mean, I come up with all kind of cool ideas. I'm just not a true musician, but I love to speak and talk, and I've been told I do okay at it. You know, your vision is to become that motivational speaker, to teach the millions and hundreds of millions, and just reach
I wanna
each
touch the
one,
world.
reach one. That's what you want. Yeah.
What did you say?
That's the old Southern Baptist thing about going out and getting a friend, bringing it to church. Each one, reach one. And but that's what you're saying. You're like, I'm going to talk to the hundreds, who will then talk to the thousands, who will then talk to, and you're going to go out and touch lives. And it's never been, I want to do this. If you focus on, I want to do a podcast, that's where you're going to stop.
Right.
And I've done this for 4 years now, and now I'm on this big time radio network, and I'm happy. Don't think I'm mocking it. I love it. And I came into it, though, going, this isn't all for me. Doing a show is great, but this isn't all.
That's right.
We're going to work together. I can promise you now. I'm not pushing, but I'm telling you. And sure enough, I mean, 4 months in, we're making plans on how to make it bigger, better, but more together. I'm doing the business end of it.
Right. Being in it to win it means also that when you've outgrown something, you are looking for that next level. It doesn't mean that you're going to, throw things aside or quit things or whatever. But when you've outgrown where you're at, then you're moving forward still. Because I think that we all strive to reach a level in our life, and then oh my God, and we get to that level, you're like, whoo, I just want to be here for a while. And then you stay there long enough where you get used to it, and then hopefully you find the next level and you start moving towards that. Because if you don't, you get bored, and then you start looking for the negative drama. Because if you're bored, you want to find something to occupy your mind with. So in it to win it means going and leveling up your life towards that not just being that podcaster, but ruling the world.
No. We're just going to bend it to our will.
That's right, bending the world to our will. Dance, puppets, dance.
Yes.
How's the time?
Is that us?
We're still doing good. We got
My timer
that's our
says 2
countdown.
minutes and 53 till the. Did you start it late?
No.
All right, it's gonna be very interesting. We'll see how we are in it to win it then.
Yeah. Whoop, whoop. Does it matter? We'll still talk until the radio goes off. So.
That's right. So the final thought that we want to leave you with is.
What? We're not done.
And then it just cuts out.
That's most important. If you learn one thing tonight, and then you hear BCN sexy. Hello, boys.
Awesome.
So,
awesome.
You were talking about this new project. It's not your retirement career.
Right. Right. My husband doesn't like the term retirement career.
People like us don't retire.
Well, the reason I felt I needed a retirement career is because the business that pays the bills is at a place that I don't want to grow it anymore because it's lots of work. My husband's going to turn 60 this year. We're trying to gain ourselves a little more time. I mean, I'm fortunate that my money-making segment of my year is very focused, but that's 4 months of 70-hour weeks, and it's hard. It's really hard. That's why I'm a complete hermitess for the month of January. I don't come out. I might be able to hold it together and still be smiley during Christmas, but I would just as well hide behind a book. So I'm trying to change that a little bit.
Amy put in the chat room the link to the page of where she's working, Haley's Canines for Veterans, and I'm sure that Sharon will make sure that gets in the notes. So we link it on the show notes. And it was asked, does Bevan have a website or Facebook site or anything?
Yes, Bevan, last name Iredell, Iredell.
So it's facebook.com/Bevan Iredell, or is that BevanIredell.com?
Facebook, blah, 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 /Bevan.
Well, that was easy. I like that. Y'all talk, I'm typing.
Okay, we're watching you type.
So yeah, you can find out all the wonderful things that Bevan does, and the projects that he is involved with as well. And they are legion. They are legion. Bevan is one of us that's really a multi-potentialite. I love this new word. People that really have to be doing more than one thing to stay sane. I'm one.
That was our
That was
buzzer. It was really quiet. So we have 5 minutes.
We got 5 minutes? Okay,
sure?
So anyway, are we on?
I got 10:30 straight up.
I got 10:29 and 10 seconds left to go, so we'll find out.
Guys.
So
Facebook.com/BZTosol. You finish yours.
Finish your thought real quick.
It was a story. I can't.
Oh, you get nothing to like it.
BearCrawlingNation.com. Check me out tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m. for Chaos and Coffee right here on the No Agenda stream.
That's right. If you're lucky enough and you want to come out to the Georgia Renaissance Festival,
May 26th.
May 26th, Saturday of Memorial Day weekend, we are doing a bear crawling / No Agenda meetup. This has been our Mordant Mon
and the McFall
and Rhonni Rocks.
Oh, and that guy on the far away from the microphone guy, Bevan, holding the camera.
And this has been The Other Side of Live.
So raise your
Ciao, dream catchers.
So raise your glass if you are wrong.
Boom, baby.